Welcome back from the rest hold, everybody. It's time to get into our main event for this evening, and that's going to be another edition of Belt or Bury. If you're unfamiliar with how that segment works, it's pretty simple. If you have a choice between giving somebody a championship in WWE or burying the fuck out of them, de-pushing them, pushing them into the jobber category, or even possibly out of the company entirely, what would you do? So, this week, since Rusev won the United States Championship, what better time to do Belt or Bury Rusev? And funny enough, the last person that we did Belt or Bury for was Sheamus after he had won the United States Championship. So we're going from Sheamus to Rusev, and I think our overall consensus for Sheamus the last time around was more on the Bury than anything else, if I'm remembering correctly. This time, maybe it'll be different. Maybe it'll be the same. I'm not 100% sure, but let's get into that. If you guys had a choice between Belt or Bury for Rusev, what would you do? Wigo?
I would bury that son of a bitch.
Elaborate.
All right, so I'm perfectly fine with him being a US champion just because it serves the purpose for the gimmick. But when that well dries up and he is finally defeated, I have no longer any use for Rusev. That character entirely is built up for one major defeat, and once that bubble is popped, he is done, son.
I agree in a lot of different ways, but you would bury him right now?
Not right now. As far as when I would bury him, I am perfectly fine with John Cena or another Patriot beating him. Or the Patriot.
The Patriot. The Patriot himself comes back with Angle's theme, so everybody's like, oh, fuck, it's Angle. Then it's just the Patriot. They're like, ah, shit. Except for that
If
one dude at too many games. He's just like, it's the Patriot, yo, it's the Patriot.
fucking if Kurt Angle came back, I'd totally put Kurt Angle over him as a WrestleMania. That would be a fucking sweet moment. If Roman Reigns they decide is not ready for the main event push as far as getting the championship at Mania, you could always use him. But right now, I don't want John Cena in my championship match at Mania, so let him take the US title off Rusev. You could always retire the belt later if you don't want Cena to have it and you don't want anyone to beat Cena for it. So there's a few ways you can go about this, but I think WrestleMania is the perfect time for him to lose it. And yeah, that's about it. There's one thing I'm disappointed they didn't do to capitalize on it. Have a Great American Bash and Rusev pretty much come out on top of it. At it, it would have like milked this whole gimmick even better.
That would have been great.
But they fucked that up. Instead, we're getting Fast Track.
That's so terrible. Maybe Fast Track's going to be all American. It just doesn't have that in the title. It's going to be all about how Americans cause a lot of car crashes.
Oh, in that case, just fucking have it NASCAR, because like all the over patriotic people like NASCAR, because they're all fucking rednecks.
Yeah. Combine three passions: NASCAR, patriotism, and WWE. They were
Yeah,
just like, oh, fuck that Rusev guy. Hand me another beer.
taking another left turn.
He took that turn. Drew, what would you do if you had a choice between Belt or Bury for Rusev?
I would belt him.
Like you take a
And
belt and beat the piss out of him.
do I need to elaborate?
Yes.
All right. So the reason why I would belt him is because unlike you guys, I kind of like the character. I think this is going to be a major thing, kind of like with the Iron Sheik and the stuff going on in the Middle East. I think this thing with Russia could go on for quite some time. So if that's the case, then why not have this character throughout all these things that are going to be going on in the future? Also, now that he has a U.S. championship, I think that he could hold it on for quite some time. And something that me and Peyton mentioned last week during when we were talking about the Rusev, whoever the hell he faced match. Oh, Big Show, my bad. We mentioned that if he wins U.S. title, why not hold it past WrestleMania? Why not hold it till next year at SummerSlam and lose it to a Rock of some sorts, and he could just retire the belt as that? Or he doesn't need to win the belt off him. Why not wait until then to lose his first match? I think that is where the money is. Because if he only holds the belt for a few months, then what? Then why even put it on him? I think he needs to have a strong, dominant reign as the champion. And also with the way that WWE has brought up recent people from NXT, Rusev is the best guy over the past year that they brought up from NXT. So why ruin it? Because, Bo Dallas flopped, Adam Rose flopped, yeah, some other people flopped as well. So you got to build people for the future, and there's not really one strong heel right now, that up and comer. And if that's the case, why not make Rusev that guy for the future? I think he's a guy after he loses that he could definitely hold a strong spot on the card afterwards. One loss isn't going to kill a man, even if it's an undefeated streak. Goldberg was able, he took a hit, but he survived. I think Rusev could survive as well. And I think Rusev is a guy that could hold the WWE Championship someday if they book him right.
Who would you have beat him for the U.S. title?
If not The Rock, then John Cena, because he has a connection with The Rock already, and I think they could go back to that sometime. And I think The Rock is probably the best guy to put him over. I think that would be the best way to sell SummerSlam, as The Rock is taking on this Russian guy that would get a lot of publicity, and I think that'd make a lot of people want to tune in to see what's going on. I think that would be the best way to do it. And if you want him to beat The Rock, then hell, that would be even better. Hold it even past that. Though I highly doubt that would happen. I think The Rock or the John Cena, or maybe even Ryback if he has a streak of his own, and they could have like a streak versus streak match to see who could top one another. One of those three, I could definitely see them doing. Possibly Ryback as well, mainly because if he hasn't won a title, I think that'd be a great way to pass the torch, sort of thing.
See, I gotta go with belt by default, and that's not something that I really necessarily would have gone with. Even maybe earlier this week or last week, I thought before that he should have won the U.S. title before he even feuded with Jack Swagger, and that they missed an opportunity to have him win it then, because it's not like Rusev has really upgraded himself much in the past few months. He's really sort of in the same boat that he was before. He's beating the same level of people, and I don't believe in him losing a match any more than I did before, unless he faces a really important person. When he goes up against Mark Henry's not going to win. He faces Big Show. Big Show's not going to win. So it's the same thing as before. But I do think that it was a smart idea to give him the United States Championship, because Sheamus was doing fuck all with it. So at least you got the guy who's doing the anti-American thing with the United States Championship. And even though I'm not a big Rusev supporter, I want this build-up to have meant something. They already sat through a whole bunch of this. I already had to watch a bunch of matches that I didn't really like. So the last thing that I want them to do is to just bury him out of nowhere, make it all, a year's worth of build-up for no reason. You want to make it worth the while, you got to keep the belt on him until at least WrestleMania. The Survivor Series, the SummerSlam idea, I like that one. But there's a little bit of a problem with both of them in my mind, and that's, if you have him up against John Cena, I'm going to assume Cena's going to win at any of these big pay-per-views. If you have him against somebody else at WrestleMania, I'm going to assume John Cena is going to beat him at SummerSlam. And if you have him against John Cena at WrestleMania, he should beat John Cena at WrestleMania. If you're going to do the SummerSlam thing. You can't have him lose the United States title and then try to have a big patriotic match after that. Once Rusev loses, like Wego said, he's done. That's it. All of the fanfare, all the pomp and circumstance and all that goes away the minute he loses. Doesn't matter if he loses through some kind of interference. Doesn't matter if he loses the title because somebody came in and the referee screwed him. None of that kind of stuff. He loses, he is done. So you need to think who you would want to be the United States champion at this point. And I kind of agree with what you said too about the unifying the belts or getting rid of it or retiring it or something like that. Fuck, give it to a John Cena. have him either merge it with the Intercontinental title or just have them get rid of it entirely. They don't need the US title
Here's the
anymore.
thing: what they can do. If Cena beats him, and I should correct myself, when John Cena beats him, because it's gonna happen. Whenever they build up a big heel, it's always John Cena candy. The best thing for Cena to do is whenever he gets his next championship run in the world for the world title, is just merge it with it and get rid of it. Because I don't want to see him beating mid card talent that deserve a spot. So have him pretty much do what Dean Ambrose did. Don't defend it and then get rid of it when he gets a title.
I'd be fine with that for the most part because the US title's pointless. I mean, right now it's on somebody that seems like they
It's
have a
fucking
purpose
stupid
for it.
looking too.
It's been worse. That spinner one I think was worse. But
At least that had a purpose.
it's
That's
better
just
looking
all.
than a European.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Which, by the way, I totally want them to make Rusev change the title and make it like look all just like the Russian championship. I think that'd be
Also,
better.
they did WWE posted something on YouTube today, I believe. It was like the top 5 matches of the European titles. So I don't know if that like was supposed to be dropping hints, but I thought it was interesting that they posted that right after Rusev
I
won.
don't think Russia is a part of Europe.
No, I'm just saying they mentioned the European. No, Russia is half of it is. Half of it is actually.
It
That
is. I
is a
don't
fact.
know.
Half of, yeah, it's like half of it. It's fucking weird. I don't know how it's
Kind of like
possible,
how
but it is.
Northern Ireland's the only part of the UK.
Kind of like how Australia is a country and a continent. One of those weird things.
And how the UK doesn't get the network.
Fuck, Sean.
So I'm going with Belt. Drew, you're going with Belt, and Wago, you're going with Barry.
Barry, because you can put the belt on him now, but sooner or later the bubble pops and he gets buried anyway.
Yeah, but then there's that idea of building stars.
Yeah,
And
you can't do that with Rusev because of the type of character he is. Once he takes a loss, he's fucked.
yeah, except he's relevant as long as his Russia issue is relevant. So as long as it's relevant, he could be a relevant character in the WWE. He's still gonna get heat no matter what. It doesn't matter if he loses to John Cena. Everyone loses to John Cena. That could in
Yeah, because
careers
that
that
didn't hurt Bray Wyatt. Oh, wait. It
didn't hurt
did.
Triple H when he lost to him, even though he was technically an established star. You could say Bray Wyatt was established sort of by the time
No,
Cena
he
faced him.
wasn't. Bray needed something to cement himself and Cena pissed all over it.
Some people it works, sometimes it doesn't ruin their careers. So I believe that Rusev can be a player as long as the Russia thing is relative.
All right, guys, leave your comments below. Tell us if you would give Rusev a belt or if you would bury him. And if you would give him a belt, which championship would it be? Is he somebody who you could see being a tag team champion in the
Give him a
future?
cruiserweight.
The Cruiserweight.
I'd give him diverticulitis.
Could you see him being a WWE champion in the future? By the way, I do not. I do not think that he has what it takes to be world champion. But if you do, go ahead and leave a comment below and give us a reason why. Prove us wrong. And if you are more on the Barry side, just type fuck Rusev. So,
Because none of you can spell diverticulitis.
so we are going to do the last part of this episode in part 5, and that's going to be the Fantasy League talk. And we will see you on that video, so stay tuned, everybody.